DMV pulling registrations from Uber's self-driving cars in San Francisco. And in response, the cars are now on the move to Arizona. Google's own Waymo, that's the name of the self-driving car unit that recently spun out of Google X, it's already testing a self-driving program in Arizona. So let's take a closer look at self-driving cars and Arizona regulation. Doug Ducey is the governor of Arizona. He joins us now in a CNBC exclusive. Good morning, Governor.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. I hope you are too. This is interesting partly because California said, hey, you need these permits. There's a slight cost to them. We're going to fast track them. Uber didn't like that. But the California DMV was going to collect information about when the self-driving car gave control back to the human driver, any accidents that occurred. Are you going to collect that information as well and post as California does?
Well, Arizona is really on the rise here, and we're excited that companies are leaving California and coming to our state. Uber's on its way here right now. I'm going to go meet them at the state capitol in about an hour. And of course, we're going to have proper regulation so that we can make sure that there's public safety for these vehicles. But we also want to be a place that's open to business and innovation and entrepreneurs. Google recognizes that, Uber recognizes that, and we're proud to be testing these cars in the state of Arizona.
And how do you define proper regulation when it comes to something like this? To me, Google's Waymo is a little bit different because they're not running a service that's moving customers around at this point. So what are you going to require of Uber in terms of what they report to you and then what you report to the public?
Well, there is a permit that Uber is going to have to fill out, of course, which we have for any vehicle in the state of Arizona. There's also a task force that includes the Department of Public Safety and the Arizona Department of Transportation. And the thing I think people need to know is there's actually a human sitting in the driver's seat of these cars while they're testing. So we think that there's proper regulation, that Uber's being responsible. And again, this testing and experimentation is welcome in the state of Arizona, but our first concern is always going to be for public safety.
Governor, I was going to ask, is that your core message here to Silicon Valley, that Arizona is open for innovation if California is not?
Arizona is open for business. Arizona's stock is on the rise. I visited Silicon Valley several times as governor, and I think people are starting to see that they can grow and invest in the state of Arizona, and they're not going to have overly aggressive government bureaucrats. My background's in the private sector. I know what it takes to grow and build a business, and I want entrepreneurs all across the country to see Arizona as the place to be.
And as we watch President-elect Donald Trump negotiating with Lockheed and Boeing on it's worth understanding more about his leadership style. Governor, let's take a listen to what he told CNBC's Big Idea almost 10 years ago.
I say it ad nauseum. I'll tell people during the negotiation, you think you're the only one? I have 10 people that want this deal. And sometimes it's so, and sometimes it's a little bit less than so. But I always create competition because it makes the other side a little bit nervous. And even if I've had my own people come up to me and say, oh, Mr. Trump, you shouldn't keep telling them that there are other people. I said, do me a favor. Let me negotiate. I want to drum them. I want to brainwash them. I want to think that there is so much competition. And I think that's important. Know your subject, create competition, feel confident in yourself.
Governor, Lockheed has facilities and employees in Arizona, so you've got a dog in this fight. How do you interpret the president-elect's negotiating tactics right now?
Well, we value Lockheed very much in the state of Arizona, but our president-elect is a skilled negotiator and a successful businessman. I'm thrilled about the opportunity. You look at the stock market, which is often a leading indicator for what's going to happen in the economy. It's not only Arizona that's a buy right now. We're looking at record levels. So I think we're going to see an economy that's growing, and Arizona wants to be part of that and wants to be a place that is bringing businesses and has its current businesses expanding. I'm excited about what's in the future for the American economy and the American worker.
Governor, just to go back to this Uber issue for one moment, what happens if something tragic takes place out there on the roads? These are cars trying to drive themselves in unfamiliar conditions, albeit with people in the front seat trying to make sure nothing happens. But you're now putting yourself and your state out there in a big way to welcome these cars into your state. And what if there's an accident?
Well, the ultimate goal here is that we're going to have increased public safety. You know, there are tens of thousands of accidents that are avoidable every year. There are deaths that are caused by human error. With this technology coming to the fore, we believe we can have safer roads, we can have less congestion, we can have a better environment, we can have more productivity. But we want to see safety be the result of this. I believe Uber wants the same. Again, this is a test. And Uber's going to have to prove this out over the course of time. Today, there are actually humans sitting in the driver's seats of this test. So we know what's possible here, and we have confidence that Uber has a plan to make this happen, and we want to be a place where they can test it out.
Well, we will be watching those driverless cars, as I know you will as well. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey, thanks for joining us.